Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Conversation. Super excited today to be joined by Tony Aubin from the Hey Look Squirrel YouTube channel. Tony is a father of five, racing to his recently discovered heritage in the UK. And on his second channel, The Other Side of Squirrel, he's falling in love with music again. When he's not at his full-time job or at a sports event for one of his five boys, he's enjoying family time. And once the family goes to bed, he becomes a YouTuber. It's kind of like a Batman at night. He says sleep is overrated. Tony, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. Super excited to chat with you about your YouTube story and journey. Hey Look Squirrel is your main YouTube channel. So tell us the origin story of the YouTube channel and kind of how it came to pass.
All right. Well, how it came to pass kind of goes back to my original actual channel on YouTube. So I had a channel called Viewed This, and it was me and my son, my oldest son. And what we were doing was we were trying to build a channel guide of cool channels that we had seen because I kind of looked into it and the way the YouTube algorithm works, it goes by all your recent searches of what it feeds you pretty much. So this gives everybody, it would give everybody an opportunity to come through and just kind of look through categories and find cool channels. So it was just something fun that we thought would be cool, a little channel guide you could go to and find some neat channels and stuff. We were doing that for a while, and then I started kind of going out because my son was, once he got into high school, so much more work on computers all day long. So it was hard for me to stick him in front of a camera. He liked to be in the editing process and learn that and everything. It was hard for me to want to put him in front of a computer even more than he had to be at the time. He was doing scouts and sports and all that. So, anyways, then the pandemic hit, and then he was in school 8 hours a day on a computer, and that was the end of that. Like it just kind of fizzled out. So I wanted to just start something on my own, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I chose the name Hey Look Squirrel because I figured whatever it was that I ended up doing, the term "Hey Look Squirrel" has always been a term that people use as a distractionary device. Like "Hey Look Squirrel," and somebody looked the other way. And I want my YouTube channel, whatever it ended up being, I wanted it to be a place where people could come and they could enjoy 2, 3, 5, 10, however many minutes they wanted to on my channel, and it could distract them away from whatever's bothering them in life. It was a place for them to go and be distracted for a few minutes and kind of forget about their problems. That was the idea of it. That's where the name came from. I started hanging out in a lot of online chats. There was a lot of panels going on during the pandemic, stuff like that. And then just from having that channel name, people just started calling me Squirrel, and that kind of stuck. So I started doing vlogs. I had this crazy idea that I was gonna be the guy to do custom FU messages to people. I started making these videos, just custom videos, that you could send your friend as a joke, and I did over 200 of them actually. And most of them, I think I've kind of unlisted all of them, I think, or I'm not sure, but most of them anyway. Still a lot on there, but either way, that's how it kind of started out. And then my wife bought me a DNA kit, and found out I was very strictly Italian, very, very, very heavy, strict Italian family, and like almost 80% of my DNA is the UK and Ireland, those five countries. So 1% Italian in me. So I decided it was time to learn where my actual heritage was from and learn a little bit about them. I started kind of watching some stuff and learning about it, and then a couple of the people that were watching my channel at the time were like, "Hey, these FU videos are okay, but like, we'd like to see you react to something." So they sent me a couple videos to react to. They were disgusting. I did the reactions, but people were like, "All right, so the subject matter was no good, but we enjoyed your reactions." And then I said, "Well, if people like watching me react to stuff, then I'll learn about my heritage and start reacting to it and see how it goes." And it's turned out okay.
So, if one were to go to your YouTube channel, explain just briefly about what you do now. You kind of said it there towards the tail end. You basically are doing reactionary content or reactionary videos towards things in the UK and other explain exactly what you're doing.
All right, so yeah, so I react to UK based content. So it's I do pepper some music into the channel, like bands and things like that. But a lot of that is petered over into the second channel because I started a music reaction channel because people, when I would react to things from the UK, would want me to react to other music. And I found out quickly that if it's UK based, it gets treated well when I publish it. If I
Mm-hmm.
do something from a different country, if I do something that's not a UK artist in music, it would just fall flat on its face. So that was what made me start the music reaction channel. And then I actually have a third channel that's got about 2,500 subs called Hey Look Squirrel Down Under, because I had a lot of Aussie fans on the main channel, and they would want me to do Aussie content that would fall flat on its face. So I started a third channel just to do that. So I separate my reactions out, but yeah, that's what I do. I react. And to me, reacting, you know, I find that there's three kinds of reactors in this world. There's probably a lot more than that, but there really are. There's people who just watch the video when it's over. They're like, all right, we'll see you next time. And they shut the video off. You know, like I kind of feel like, I don't know, that's kind of weird. I feel like I do commentary after everything I watch. I break it down. I talk about it, you know. I feel that's what the value is, you know, is that I feel everybody should be doing that. Otherwise, right, you know, I don't know. And then there's people who do reactions, but they go like way over the top. And you see this a lot more in shorts and stuff like that, you know, where you watch it like, this is not someone's real reaction. It's crazy. I kind of stay middle of the road, you know. I like to talk about what I react to. I give you a natural reaction. If it falls flat on me, I can't hide it, you know. And sometimes people are like, "Oh man, you really didn't like that." I was like, "No, I really didn't."
Yeah.
But it's amazing. You know, a lot of people from the UK tell me that one of the biggest shows in the UK is called Gogglebox, and Gogglebox is a TV show watching someone who's either famous or semi-famous, or if they can't get a famous person, just someone who wins a contest, whatever, watching them watch a TV show. That's the
Yeah.
number one show in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Reaction content on YouTube has always intrigued me because I don't consume very much of it myself. There are certain things I have consumed in the past, like my wife and I do like some of the shorts or reels on Facebook where people are reacting to like people making food poorly or whatever it may be. That's kind of funny. But I've never really gotten into the whole reactionary side of YouTube. But it's so big, it's so large. What is the technical aspect of what you're doing as far as like how are you walk us through the process of like how you are receiving these videos to react to? Are you receiving submissions from viewers? And then once you receive the video, you decide you're going to react to it. How do you produce a video?
So the way I choose my content is it's three different ways really. I look at I look at my analytics as to what my viewers are watching. It gives me the top 15 videos they're currently watching at all times in your analytics.
Mm-hmm.
So I pay attention to that. If there's a subject in there I haven't touched base on or whatever, I'll pull from there to find a video that I'm interested in. I get a tremendous amount. I'm one of these guys who's kind of like, I'm a no bubble guy. So like when I look at my phone, I don't want to see bubbles on anything. You know, I know people that have like 7,000 emails and they have all these. I can't live like that. It's got to be clean. You know,
I'm
it
the
drives
same
me
way.
nuts. Yeah. So, so I'm constantly Twitter, Instagram, and email. I even have a phone number. I set up a oral hotline. I just use the free Google Voice number, and set up a telephone number so people can call, leave me messages. People literally call and be like, "Oh, I saw this, and I was thinking you should react to this by this guy." So people make suggestions. I go out, I find the videos that I want to use. Um, Sometimes I have a collection of DVDs up here that have all been sent to me from viewers in the UK, and I use pieces off of there as well. So I have a multi-regional DVD player that I bought, and I can load it right through the computer, and I can watch it and react to it. And then so some of the stuff just comes naturally right off CD as well, or DVD.
Do
I find I
you
get less.
do you reach out to the people like the content creators, the videos that you're watching, or most of it is it public? How are you handling that as far as like copyright strikes and things of that nature?
It depends on what it is. So if it's just like a lot of stuff people want to see me react to, like old TV shows, old comedians from the past, I do a ton of comedy, tons and tons of comedy on my channel. Lots of old British comedy on my main channel, and so I do more modern guys like Jimmy Carr and Mickey Flanagan and you know uh, guys like that, and then I dig way back and do other guys like Spike Milligan and things. So it all depends on what they ask for, but a lot of it's comedic stuff. A lot of people that I'm reacting to these days have since passed, so I can't ask for their permission. So what I do is I take a chance when I make the video. Doesn't go, it doesn't go. Some
Mm-hmm.
of my videos get blocked. I'd say about 20% of my videos are monetizable for me. So I don't make a lot of money currently doing this. Um, as far as the monetization part of it goes, about 80 of them probably get copyright claimed. I've been really lucky and I have not gotten a copyright strike yet. I know a lot of people get them. If there's certain pieces that you just know. Like today, I put out a piece, a Benny Hill piece, right? So a lot of Benny Hill stuff gets blocked. Just gets blocked, hard blocked. Can't use it. Anything from the BBC usually gets blocked. You know, so there's certain things you just know you can't touch. Certain
Sure.
comedians you can't touch. You know,
Sure.
but if it's something that I'm concerned with, I'm also in a big Discord group. That there's a reactor. His name is the Eclectic Beard. Awesome guy, good friend of mine. Um, he started a big Discord group with a bunch of reactors. They're all American reactors, people who all react to the same kind of UK content. So we bounce stuff off each other in there. If one of us gets a strike, we let everybody know, or things like that. Or if we find something that's like, oh man, I got a ton of views on this and there's no copyrights on it, we'll share it. Everybody will do the same piece because we all know we can make a little bit of money for the channel. Um, if it's something
Interesting.
that they're into, yeah, we try to communicate because if one person reacts to something, so it's like say somebody that I know of this big group of reactors, and we're not all buddies or anything, we just kind of share information a lot of times, but like say one of them reacts to a video and it does really good, their fans are going to come to my page and they're going to say, hey, you should react to this. If I'm not watching what everybody else is reacting to, I have no idea that it's because somebody else just did it. So I
Mhm.
don't watch a lot of other reactors, but sometimes if I get a lot of people asking for the same thing, I'll jump around channel to channel like, this guy, you can find, somebody just did it. But people will tell you they subscribe to different reactors because every reactor reacts differently. So
Mhm.
they'll watch 20 people react to the same half-hour TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, so interesting to someone who isn't
Yeah.
coming from that space. What do you think has been one or two of the biggest attributes that has helped you grow your channel, whether it be something you do on the back end or the design aspect or how you edit? What would you say a couple of things that you would attribute to your so far success on YouTube?
I can give you two things,
Go
two
ahead.
solid things. For anybody who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel or has already started a YouTube channel, and you're in your infancy, the biggest thing that's helped me grow this channel is not doing the things I did on the first channel. So on
Okay.
my first channel, I was like, oh, I want to be, I want to know everybody. So I just went everywhere, and I would go to anywhere I could find live streams, anywhere they were, and I'd jump in and um and then like all the I was in the wrong I had the wrong mindset. I was in the wrong like circle of people. Every place I went to, people would just run your channel like oh, go check this guy out. And I thought this was a good idea. I thought they were communities of people who wanted to support each other, but nobody supports anybody. So everybody wants to get that magical 1,000 number, right? Well, when you get to 1,000, if you don't have 4,000 hours of stuff to watch, it doesn't make a difference, anyways.
Hmm. Hmm.
And even if everybody watched a 1 hour video, you know, and you got 4,000 people to all watch 1 hour video, and you got monetized, then what?
Hmm.
Nobody's watching your content. So I was in this kind of like I don't know, they like the grow communities. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Hmm.
straight up like sub for sub crazy like that, but that's exactly what it was at the end of the day. And I didn't really understand that. I was new to YouTube and I just thought, wow, this is so cool. And I met a couple people that are like, oh, come meet all my friends. You're gonna love these people. They'll all subscribe to your channel, and like and I see people still do this. Like they'll show up, they're like, "Oh, I met this guy the other night. Everybody should check out his channel and subscribe." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. We don't play that game here. Like I don't. I put a squash to it." So I learned from my mistakes. When people tell you don't sub for sub, when people tell you, if somebody runs, if I go to a channel and somebody puts my link on, they're like, "Oh, hey, Hey Look Squirrel's here. Go check out this guy's channel." I immediately will type in the chat, "Please don't run my link. Please take that down." Like I don't like it. I'm so against it, and so many people still think it's a good idea. I see it all the time. If
Hmm.
you think it's a good idea, reach out to me, come to my channel, send me an email, and tell me why you think it's a good idea, and I will tell you exactly why it's not a good idea. I've seen it kill so many channels. My
Hmm.
initial community that I started with on YouTube, there's none of them left. Nobody's left. I'm the only guy that survived, and that's because I said I'm going to trash this. Another reason why that channel kind of went. I could have fought and done it by myself, but at that point I was like, this isn't working, and I knew why at that point. So I just let it go and said, I'm just going to start fresh. And, you know, and people say to me, like, you got that channel sitting there. It's got, you know, 1,270 subs. Why don't you do something with it?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're dead subs.
Well,
They're
now
all.
you've grown the Hey Look Squirrel community to like over almost 22,000 subscribers. You got over 1,000 videos now, so you're obviously doing something right. You've learned from
Right.
your failure and learned from your mistake. You know, not all views. I was just recording another podcast about this week. Not all views and not all subscribers are equal. If you're getting them from sub to sub, if you're, you know, those communities were very big years ago. Now I think people kind of learned from their ways, but you still can buy subscribers, you still can buy likes and all of that. And I highly discourage, if you're listening to this starting, this is not how you grow. Do it the right
No.
way. But I interrupted you. You had another one that you wanted to point out. What was number 2?
So number 2 is kind of what you're saying. So what I did was, after learning my lesson, when I started out, I said, all right, I'm gonna keep doing. I'll keep trying until I find out what works, right? And so we'll talk about when I get to when I figured out reaction. So what happened was I started. So I took what I learned and I said, I'm going to do the exact complete opposite. I'm going to cherish every person that comes naturally to find me. And I just kept putting out video after video after video. And it didn't happen
Right.
right away, obviously, as for anybody, you know. But every person that came in, I made sure, and I still, man, I can't keep up anymore, but I try to react to as many comments as I can. I'll spend 3 hours sitting and just answering comments 3 hours straight one night, you know, jumping video to video, doing a bunch of them. But I try to answer a lot of comments. I get a lot of personal emails from people. I have people that reach out to me now. Like I just did a video the other day for a guy who reached out to me and said, "Hey man, my dad died. I didn't know who to
Oof.
talk to. I reached out to you. I just want all I want you to do. You know, I don't want you to mention me or my name, but you know, I just want you to know what's going on." So I found a nice song for him, and song I'd never heard, and I did a reaction video and just dedicated it to him. Like, hey, you know who you are. You know what I mean? Like, so I do things like that where I try to. I'm very close to everybody. So what I did was I took my community and I appreciated my community. I tried to interact with my community the most I could. I try to do as many of their suggestions as I can. I try to spread it out and I try to show the love to everybody. And every once in a while, one of my videos, it's not every video, but it's a lot of them. You know, when I'm talking in the video, I make sure that I thank everyone who spends their time. Like, hey, if you're here watching my video, I want to say thanks. I appreciate it. If you're a subscriber to the channel, thanks for sticking by me. Thanks for believing in me. I got nothing but love for all you guys. You're the reason why I do this. If I didn't have you, I wouldn't be doing this, you know? And I genuinely mean that. I mean it so much more now than I ever would have if I hadn't screwed myself in the beginning. And now I understand the value of a consumer consuming your product and enjoying your product. And when I see the same people a lot of times in those chats, man, I tell you, nothing makes you feel good and makes you realize what you're doing is worth it than when you see the same people wanting to come back and have a conversation with you every day.
Yeah.
They look forward to your videos. That's
That's a
you know
that's a
huge.
real community. You know, it's a real
Mhm.
community on YouTube. When you build that, it's something to be proud of and it's something to
Yeah.
cherish. And it's really cool to hear you talk about community building because we don't talk about it often enough here.
Yeah.
What is something that you wish you would have known sooner, though? Like, what is something looking back, you're like, man, I wish I would have known this sooner about YouTube and just the whole grind of running a channel and being a creator.
Um, I think that the thing most that I wish I knew early on and is to be prepared for things and not burn yourself out. So when
Mm-hmm.
I started on YouTube, I kept hearing about, you know, creative burnout, creative burnout, creative burnout. And I kept thinking to myself, this is fun. I like doing it. How do I get burnt out doing this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I've never let myself get burnt out. And the reason why you know, I produce a lot of videos between 3 channels, but the reason why I don't is because um I'll tell people, hey, I'm gonna take the next 8 days to me. It's gonna take a break, you know. I've learned even more from that. So now what I do is I always have a cache of videos sitting. And I'll tell people, hey, I'm gonna, you know, got a few videos lined up over the next few days, but if you don't see me responding to comments, I'm just gonna step away from YouTube a little bit. So I still take that little break and I give myself little breaks. But
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten to the point where I produce extra videos and you know I batch record now. So I do a lot more batch recording, get a lot of stuff knocked out. And then I can come over every night and I can just edit a few videos, put them up on the right channels and move on. You know,
Yes.
so batch recording has been a huge thing for me. But I have videos just sitting. You know, I got coronavirus last May, and when I got coronavirus, I just spread the videos out to every 3 days. But I had videos the whole time through coronavirus because I had stuff. kind of in the bank. You know, right now
Hmm.
on each of my channels, I have 7 videos on every channel in the bank, just sitting there.
Ready to go.
The broad-based material, right?
Yeah.
You know, just for this, and the reason why is because even if they're not the best videos I've put out, even if they're not the subject people are looking for the most, I realized when I said, "Hey guys, I'm going to take a week and we're going on vacation with my wife and kids," they're not going to see them for a week, you know. And I didn't pre-record and have things ready. My channel took a huge hit.
Hmm.
You know, like I was on a roll for a while where I was just going, you know. And I was like, man, I told my wife I didn't want to go on vacation. But this ride's incredible. I was like, you know, how bad can it hurt? Leveled me right out, man. Leveled me
Yeah.
right out.
The
You know.
power of consistency on YouTube
Mhm.
is strong. I mean, it is important to stay consistent and being able to batch record. I've learned that doing podcasting, and that, you know, this episode that we're recording right now, you know, will not go live until the end of May, you know, and we're recording it at the beginning of May. So having those guardrails in place to know kind of the safety nets of, you do have the content here, it's sitting here ready for you, is really nice. Um,
Yeah.
do you believe, as a creator now, a successful creator on YouTube, that it is possible to start and grow a successful channel in 2023 and beyond? Do you think it's still possible?
Absolutely. I mean, the newest channel I have isn't that old, but I can't use that as a good example because once people from my main channel saw that there was another channel with my face popping up on it, a lot of them, you know, migrated over to. So that, you know, I can't say that I just started it from scratch and it was natural, because it wasn't, you know. But I still think it is. I know people that are always constantly building. I have a friend of mine who just in the past 8 months, he's a metal detecting enthusiast like I am. And he does a lot of smelting and melts stuff down. And he started it was about a year ago now, I guess. He started just recording himself, no face, no voice. They were just videos of him just like melting metal and pouring it, and he sped it up a little bit, whatever. But it was like, you know, I told him, like, you know, got to talk a little bit, you got to do this. Now he shows his face, he talks to everybody, like he's really come out of his shell. But I watched him go. He's at 2.8 thousand, I think, and he's monetized, you know, and took him. But he didn't really start doing it consistently until that's why I said 8 months ago. But 8 months ago is when he started consistently doing like a video a week. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
getting into it. But yeah, he's a cool little channel, you know, and so yeah, it's definitely doable. You just gotta, you know, and anybody can build a channel. I could build a channel, you know, you and I could race and see who could get to 1,000 first, building a shorts channel. You know, if we wanted to do it. I mean, how many people right now are just reusing everyone else's content and making monetize shorts channels? And it's like, you know, I mean, I guess if you want to do that, but the hammer's got to come at some point, right? On all that
Right.
reused content, it's gonna. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, it goes back to doing it the right way. There is
Right.
still, I agree with you 100%. I believe that creating a channel and starting one in 2023 and beyond is certainly possible. You need to carve out your own niche, find your own space, find your voice, and get that target audience. And you don't always have to find the astronomical numbers as far as subscribers and viewers. It's not going to happen fast. It's going to be a long grind. So I love that. You talked about burnout just a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
How do you stay motivated? How do you stay motivated and consistent as a creator who does have multiple YouTube channels where you put out multiple videos a day? You know, how do you, you know, handle that without getting burned out?
There's a few ways I do it. First, again, my community pulls me along. They really do. Such a strong bond with these folks. Secondly, my again, my community, a lot of times, like I'll be doing like a certain like genre of stuff. Like maybe I'm looking at a lot of military pieces or whatever, you know. And I'll have somebody send me an email and be like, "Hey, man, I noticed you're doing a lot about this particular topic. It's got to be getting boring. So here's something totally different for you to try out." So they throw me
Mhm.
things to give me differences. You know, that's number one. Number two is um, I don't make a slew of money on YouTube, but all 3 channels add up every month. And I bought myself a new car about a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and I've made every car payment with YouTube since I bought the car. And you know, and then I usually have a little bit extra to put toward another bill or whatever. So I'm not destroying it on YouTube, but it's making me it at least is a comfort in life. It pays for my new car. You know, the idea is to make it all the way through the end of the payments on YouTube money only, and have YouTube buy me a car. That's what I'm working at. You know, so now I'm not, you know, not buying houses. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not being able to take care of extended family, but you know, having a big family myself, we have a lot of pets. I got 5 kids. It makes things easier on us. That's a big motivator to me. I want to take care of my family, and I want to make sure I can always provide for them. I got 5 boys. I was tired this afternoon. Like, man, because I get up and ran all day and had meetings and everything. I was tired because we were up late last night. One of my kids wiped out on a rollerblade and broke his arm, and we've just been dealing with him. So
Yeah. Well, I
yeah,
want people to listen to this episode today, and if they ever feel like, oh man, I'm too busy or I have too much going on, I can't do this, I can't be a creative man. Listen to what Tony's talking about right here. I mean, having 5 kids, a full-time job, other family responsibilities. He's still doing it. He's still putting content out there. And I guess we'll kind of towards the end here of the episode, I want to talk about monetization. You talk about you're not making, you're not getting rich like most of us, right? But you are making enough, and you're very thankful for what you are making. So, you are monetized via the partner program because of the size of your channel. Can you give us an average of what a channel like yours may make on a monthly basis, and kind of talk about how that has kind of ebbed and flowed over time?
all right. So my other 2 channels, they just kind of blend in with the check, because they're both under $100 because it's all the one channel, the Aussie channel is really small. The music channel, almost everything's copywritten. So that's just extra slush money. But just with the money that I make on my channel, my car payment's $335 a month, and I'm making that every month. I'm making right now averaging between 400 and 600 a month.
That's
Right.
great. Yeah.
During the height of the pandemic, when I had half the amount of subscribers, I was pulling in 1,200 to 2,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
because so many more people were at home and had nothing to do but watch YouTube. The views were ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
had,
No, it was crazy. It was crazy.
yeah,
The same thing happened with my
crazy.
channel. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And for a while I was like, oh, what did I do wrong? What happened? Now I'm making $400. I was making up to 2 grand. And I started talking to other people, and everybody was like, dude, it's not you. It's
It's
everybody.
common. Yeah.
It's just kind of very common, right? So I felt a little better about that. Um, it's nice. It keeps me going, man. It keeps me moving. If when I do get the check, I have a separate bank account that my YouTube check goes into. After figuring out what we're going to pay in for taxes and things like that, and pay the card payment, we have an idea what's left every month. We pay 100, 200, sometimes 300, 400, whatever. So we buy things that my wife and I wouldn't normally spend money on ourselves. We're not. We survive having a big family, and we live fine, and we do that because my wife and I are very selfless. We don't buy things for ourselves ever.
Mm-hmm.
I really need a new camera, and probably a nice mic like yours. Who knows when I'll buy that? Because I
Right.
just don't spend a lot of money on me.
Right.
I'll get there. But now we do. Now we have that extra little bit of money. So it's like, oh, we want to do this. We want to buy this for the house, or we want, and this is where we have that extra little bit of slush money on top, outside of the normal budget, the normal free money. So it's nice for that. If there's one thing I could say, man, it's that I meet people all the time on YouTube, and people are like, this is just a hobby for me. I'm not in it for the money. I could care less if I ever get monetized again. If you believe that, and that's true,
Mm-hmm.
then you won't be around long. You'll just become a viewer. Eventually, everybody will know who you are. You made some videos at one point, but now you just hang out in the chat everywhere, and that's fine. It's a social media site for you, and that it is for all of us.
Right.
Um, but more than likely, you don't mean that. I watch people get frustrated and stop creating because they actually did want to get monetized,
They
but
did.
they
Yeah.
talk themselves into, I don't want to get monetized, because that way it eases the pain when it takes forever to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Not an easy road. Everyone told me that in the beginning. And I thought I was finding easy side roads to take. You got to go the hard road. Your hard road, maybe everyone's road is different. You might walk uphill, 25 miles for 3 years until you hit that summit, that 1,000 subs, that 4,000 watch hours. You might walk down the street, take a right, and you took the right turn, and you're 3 months in and you monetized.
Mm-hmm.
It's different for everybody. The
It is.
content's different. The audience is different. You just got to remember that. If
Yeah.
you're doing this because it's a hobby, fine. Don't bother putting thumbnails or anything. Just do it because you're having fun. Do you want to share videos with your friends? There's people like that, but just But if you really want to do it, don't tell anybody it's a hobby. Treat it like it's not. Take the time. Take your time to improve. Take your time to get better. Take your time to make friends. There's a lot of guys that are in the range that I'm in right here, 20,000 subs on my main channel, and I'm willing to help anybody that really wants to do this. If they reach out to me, I'm always willing to give them a couple minutes. I'll pull up a Zoom meeting or a StreamYard meeting, and I'll chat with them live off air just to
Hmm.
help them out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people like me out there that I know that would help anybody out.
Yeah.
But you just got to want it, and you got to want to listen. That's the
Yeah.
problem, is that you tell people, and then they just like, oh, cool, and then you turn around and they're like, oh, I got 50 subs last night hanging out in the fish
Right.
tank community.
I think a lot of people are scared to make the statement of, I want to take YouTube serious. I talk to people and I'm like, listen, I hear you talk, I hear what you want, I hear your goals, and really all this nonsense about you're saying YouTube's a hobby, YouTube's this. You don't want YouTube to be a hobby. You want it to be more than that, and it's okay to say that. It doesn't sound silly. It doesn't sound like it's something that's unobtainable. It can happen if you're willing to put in the time and the dedication that it takes. And so I think people are just scared to make that statement. And so to hear you say what you said, that's very powerful.
I
So
think you're right, and I think a lot of it has to do with everybody thinks I'm going to get on YouTube and I'm going to be the next whoever, Mr. Beast, Logan
right,
Paul,
sure,
pick one, right? And then they realize it's like a 1 in a 10 million shot you're going to be that guy, right?
yeah,
And even just to be like a big name, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of work. It just takes a lot. And I think what it is when you watch videos from guys who help other people, and there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of really good ones out there. One of the first things they tell you is, if you think you're going to be the next big thing, you got to reel it back, you
hmm
know. And that's when people are like, oh, so I'm not going to be that guy. Well, then I'm just going to tell me it's a hobby because I don't want to fail. I think that's what happened.
yeah,
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to just want to be a YouTuber. That's
yeah.
fine.
And what are you measuring? What are you measuring yourself up against? Don't it's okay to be a gradual, slow thing. I mean, that happens. All right. Lastly, I want to ask you, what's next for your journey? Do you have any new fun projects planned? What's next for the channel? I mean, what are you looking to do to take it even to the next level?
All right. So I'm probably going to consolidate to 2 channels soon. I'm not sure, but I'm working on that. I've never done channel memberships. I'm working on that right now. I'm working on merch. So I'm kind of working on that stuff I should have done already, but I'm
Absolutely.
getting that caught up. And then I'm going to upgrade my equipment. And then what I want to do is start incorporating a live piece into my show, where like I see a lot of guys doing like live reactions, things like that. So kind of with that, but eventually the idea is uh, to get over to the UK and experience a lot of stuff and do a lot of like vlog content over there with it,
Hmm.
and then continue with the reactions as well. But my main focus down the road is to build the music channel up and keep this and the music channel kind of equal. And I always wanted to be a comedian my whole life, and I feel like I'm gonna try to maybe take that route on a third project. And that's why I want to consolidate into 2 channels so I can have that project just to work on the side. So
Well,
that's what I'm
I
looking forward
I
to.
I love that. And Tony, you have been such a great and honest and open guest. I appreciate you being on the YouTube Creators Hub podcast with me today. Can you let folks know where they can find you on the internet?
Sure, absolutely. You can find me over on Instagram. It's hey underscore look underscore squirrel, or at squirrel hey on Twitter. Hey squirrel at gmail.com if you want to reach out there. On YouTube, I'm Hey Look Squirrel. I'm the other side of squirrel, and I am Hey Look Squirrel down under. Just type them in, I pop right up. Pretty easy
Yep.
to find.
And
Yeah, that's about it.
and all of those links will be in the show notes as always. Thank you for listening, guys. And Tony, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.